What's up, y'all? It has been a super long day, but it's been a long couple days. But it's been an epic day. I'm very excited about tomorrow. I'm very excited about what holds in store for the next couple days, and I'm super excited to see the outcome from all of this. For those that don't know, hopefully you do know if you're watching this video, but we here at Armstrong Aroids happen to be able to host Utah's first ever Ecuagenera pop-up here in Utah at Armstrong Aroids in Bountiful, and it's been unreal. I mean, we've been to pop-ups. We went to a pop-up in Seattle. We went to a pop-up in Las Vegas. We always hit plant shops wherever we go. Shout out to Plantitas, shout out to Philodendron B, shout out to Raising Plants, Orange County, shout out to Ethereum. All of you have kind of helped mold who we've become as a company and what our goals are in terms of the products that we carry, the level of diversity, the amount of rarity, and so all of that's kind of built up to this moment. And you're going to see more about that in future videos. But tonight's video is really going to be about our plant haul. I mean, you can't host an Ecuagenera plant pop-up without having your own pop-up plant haul, right? And so I'm going to share with you some of the items that we purchased. Have not looked at these yet. This is sight unseen, and this is a pre-order, so I want to kind of be clear because it's a plant haul, but this is the pre-order to the plant haul. I'm sure we're going to do more shopping tomorrow when the event opens for the first time, but this is the pre-order, or the orders, the items that we ordered ahead of time in order to ensure that we got what we wanted, but we'll also get what we are going to try and get tomorrow and Sunday as well. All right, so let's get into it. What the plan is I've got a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch, but I've got a few large jars here, and what we'll do is go through the typical process that I would go through in doing a revival, if you will, of plants that have been recently imported. As you may know, we've spent the last couple, 2-3 years importing lots of plants, a la what you see behind you and off to the side and downstairs and over there. Yeah, it's been a steep learning curve, but we've gotten through it, and we have a lot of plants that have been imported at this point. And so, but I think what we want to share is that the process is fairly simple as far as acclimation goes in that first 48 hours, which is extremely important. And that's what we're going to do. We're basically going to take a look at the plants. Anything that's yellow, we're going to chop it off, get rid of it. Any roots that look like they're not going to be beneficial, we're going to cut those off, which reminds me I don't have any scissors here. And then anything that looks like it is going to be able to produce secondary roots, we're going to keep it. We're going to place it in some water. I've actually put just a little bit of Rapid Start Root Enhancer in it because I'm going to be taking off probably a lot of roots as well as a lot of leaves. But and then we're just going to let it sit. I'm going to put it in a bowl in some water with a little bit of Rapid Start in there. A lot of people recommend vitamin B. I'm going to place these in the grow tent afterwards because humidity is important. Sometimes what you may be recommended, and what I actually recommend if you don't have a grow tent, is take a couple bins. Let's see how we can do this. So let's pretend like, let's see, maybe we're going to adjust the camera here. Hold on, going down. All right. So let's say that this is a bin, okay? A big plastic bin. And then let's say that this is another big plastic bin. If you have a tall plant that's going to sit above the height of your bin, then what the recommendation is going to be, or my recommendation would be, in order to create the humidity that you need, is you're going to take that second bin, place it on top of the first bin, maybe tape half of it across there so that the bin stays together and doesn't fall or break your plant by tipping over. And you're going to create a humidity chamber. Okay, so that humidity chamber is going to be the lifeline of your plant for probably at least the next 48 hours, and for some up to a week or more, depending on how much you want that root system to grow out. And so that's going to be very, very key, especially for plants that have been recently imported, plants that have gone through a lot. You know, you're going to want to ensure that they get that opportunity to acclimate in the manner that they need to. And so that's really what we're going to be doing today or tonight. It's pretty late. I spent the whole day in the shop getting ready for the event tomorrow. But it's important that you know and see this so that you know how to acclimate your plants as well. Now, of course, what I would also recommend is don't just take what I say. Do some Googling. Google import plant care, import plant rehab, import plant revival, how to reacclimate an import plant, how to acclimate an import plant. You know, any of those and all of those, you know, get as much homework into your investment as you can. Invest in your plants, invest in your personal knowledge, because that's going to increase the survivalness, if that's a word, the survivalship, survivalhood, survival. It's going to increase the chances of survival. Let's go there. It's going to increase the chances of survival of your plant. All right, so somewhere in here I probably have a list of all of these. Hopefully these all have names on them. I think they all do, but we'll go, let's see, let's go down. Just kidding, but we are really going to go down. We're going to take the camera down here. Oh, let's go down for just a second. So what we have here is a huge bag of plants, what we will consider as my plant haul. And let's go back up. And so we're gonna open these up one at a time. Again, this is sight unseen. We're gonna look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. And to quote Angel, you know, if the roots, not even the roots, if it's got a good chunk, even if your leaves are yellow, and even if your roots are dying, you stand a chance. And here's the thing. So I want to preface this a little bit, because who knows what's in this bag. But the price of the price that we have paid and the price that you have paid if you've gone to the pop-up or any pop-up, whether it be Salt Lake, Las Vegas, Seattle, California, wherever, that price is extremely low. And the reason that it's extremely low is because you're not buying a plant that's been reacclimated, reintroduced to its new environment, roots have regrown, and plant leaves have popped out. You know, it's given some new leaves. That all is encompassed in the price that you're paying, which is why somebody like me at Armstrong Aroids is in business, because you can take the risk. In this case, much less risk than other experiences. I don't know if I've shared this in a recent video, but I had recently lost 50 plants that were just sent back to the shipper or the exporter because bugs were found, and we got nothing back, nothing. And I've talked about how it could happen. I knew that it was bound to happen. You know, if you order enough plants for a long enough period of time, it's going to happen. And so we did. We lost an entire shipment of plants. But in this case, because it's at a pop-up, the plants are here. You know, you cannot end up in that situation, which is why I really like the pop-up experience. Another side note, we got these plants at the same price that you pay. There's a total of 3 orders in here. I think that in a couple of the orders we were fortunate enough to catch holiday event sales where maybe they were like 20% off, but we pay what you pay when it comes to Ecuagenera plants because of the fact that they are already so cheap. you know, you're pretty much getting that wholesale or even below wholesale price when you order from them with that assumed risk. All right, 10 minutes talking. Let's get into it. Let's see what we got. Interesting. I have this plant. Not sure. I think I bought another one just so that I could sell it because I'm not selling the one that I have. But well, hopefully this is going to be sellable. But in here we've got the Gigi, the Negrolaminum. It's not a bad word. It's just a word. It's the name of a plant. Well, I'll call it the Gigi. Either way. Let's open this up. See what we got here. That's another thing too. There's been a lot of talk about with imported plants on the type of material that they get shipped in. And I think this is kind of a new twist. This might be a new thing for Ecuagenera. I'm just going to tear off the piece. But one thing that I do know is that if you ship a plant specifically from a highly humid climate, or you know, a climate where it's going to be hot and give the opportunity for moisture to build up in your plant, if you do that in plastic, then there's a really good chance of your plant melting or getting some type of fungus on it as a result of the leaf laying up against, let's see if I can do this way, as a result of the leaf laying up against the plastic, if it's plastic. So if it's paper, and most oftentimes it's a solid paper, you don't run into that as much. Now what's interesting though is that this has holes in it, which allows the plant to breathe. And so I think that's pretty cool. I think this is a new thing. I hadn't seen this in the past from Ecuagenera, and I certainly haven't seen it from any other exporter. And we have worked with a lot of exporters, by the way, but I've never seen this. And so kudos to you, Ecuagenera, because this is going to give the plant an opportunity to breathe. It's going to be in a paper versus a plastic, which is not going to melt or cause your plant to mildew. So good stuff there. All right, this is typical, you know, so this is good, protects the plant, keeps it safe. Definitely appreciate that. So let's open this bad boy up and see what we got here. So, okay. So this is nice. This is really nice, actually. You know, it's not going to be perfect. You know, it's being shipped from Ecuador, so oldest leaf, 9 times out of 10, that's probably what that is. Other leaves look really good. You're not seeing any type of bending or folding. This leaf, which is probably the newest leaf, looks really good. Got just a little bit of brown on the tip, but that's okay. It's probably likely due to shipping. Gotta excuse me, I'm super tired. A little bit of a brown spot there. That's kind of unusual. It's like it's out of characteristic. It's almost like it's a burn. It may have been. I know they don't use grow lights. Might be like a chemical burn. Maybe there was too much fertilizer in the root system that feeds this portion of this leaf. I'm not really sure, but for the most part, all in all, it's a really good looking plant. Super happy about that. So let's this is gonna be a super long video, by the way. There's like 19 plants in here, and at first I was gonna like speed through it, but this is fun. We're gonna enjoy this. The root system, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. For right now, I'm just gonna open them up, and then I'll show you the process that I'm going to go through in terms of putting them in water, which is basically just the water. I already explained it. I'm just going to basically take regular water, put in a drop of Rapid Start, not very much at all because this stuff is potent, and I don't want to burn up the roots. I do not want to add any fertilizer in the first 48 hours and possibly in the first week, because these roots need to rejuvenate and, you know, just kind of sponge back up with water. And I don't want to overdo it with the fertilizer and end up just burning out the root system, which I've done early part of my learning curve. Pretty sure that I burned up a whole order, but you know, it happens. All right, next, and this is in no particular order. I'm just pulling these straight out of the bag. Whatever's next is next. Whoa. Plant down. Lost one. I'll grab it in a second. Oh, I did order this. Oh, hallelujah. Please be in good shape. This is, it's backwards, but it's a Delinsky Eye. I didn't see it initially, and so I didn't think that I ordered it, and I was kind of sad because I thought that I ordered it and then thought that I didn't and made the mistake of not, and then I was gonna have to buy it tomorrow when I'm broke. But yay, don't need to buy it again. Let's open this up. Oh dear, I can see that one leaf already didn't make it, but I see one did, and if one leaf makes it, there's hope, right? Oh, 1 out of 2, I guess. Fair enough. Oh, 1 out of 1. You're not going to make it. Clearly. Interesting texture though. It's good. Oh, that feels good. Huh. Cool. Alright, anyways. 1 down, but 1 on the way. I'm thinking this is probably going to grow out into something as long as it does okay. Clearly, this is the one that didn't make it. But this guy, oh man, yeah, this is in great shape. I'm good with that. Just a minor crease, nothing major. Obviously, we'll get into the trunk and the root system later, but no complaints on that really. You know, you're gonna lose some leaves. Well, you're gonna lose some plants potentially too, but definitely gonna probably lose some leaves. It's just part of the process. I'll grab one off the floor. Emerald Dense Narrow. Nice. I'm not going to show it to you because I just read it to you, but and this is a plant that gets, let me stop tearing and say this. This is a plant that gets really big and really long, and so I would say that this is probably a smaller version of this plant, and that it has the potential to grow really big, which is really okay with me because we're running out of space, especially now. I don't know where half these plants are going to go, to be honest, but here we go. Okay, we got some green, we've got some yellow, got a little bit of brown. We lost 2 leaves, so down 2, but you know, not too bad. Yeah, definitely babies. I mean, because these are going to get much bigger, much longer as they get older. But if you see the greenness and you see the amount of potential, we'll say potential prop points, you know, I think we're in good shape. Certainly no regrets with that one. Again, keeping in mind the ridiculously good price. I mean, the plants, the price of these plants, I can't touch them, and we have pretty good pricing. But yeah, we can't touch these. What I should be doing though, that I'm not doing, that I'm going to do, is tip. I'm going to call it a non-pro tip because I am not a pro, but take your tag and make sure that it stays with your plant, okay? especially if you don't know what it is that you've ordered. You're gonna want to know that, because it's gonna be, unless you're doing like a whole video, kind of like what I'm doing, and I would have to go back through it and video it and figure out what was where and where, you know, all of that good stuff. This is gonna be a lot easier. No more guessing. Know what's in there. I'm gonna do the same thing with the Delinsky Eye. So actually, this is the Gigi, but you know, same difference. Let's do that. Just gonna, and if it's gonna go in water, maybe until you get things situated, because I'm probably gonna put these in a single bin, like multiple plants in one bin, and for probably like the first couple days, and then I'll drop them into their individual bins after a couple days, mainly because if one plant goes bad, I don't want it to contaminate the water and then have all of the other plants that are in that same water go bad. So 48 hours or 8, they'll be okay. But after that, everybody's going to get their own glass or cup or bin or whatever, because I want them to go through their own process. You know, like species, maybe if I bought more than one, I might put them in the same one if I'm hurting for containers. But odds are everybody's going to get their own individual container, because if contamination happens, I don't want it to wipe out my entire collection that I've just picked up. All right, let's see real quick while we're thinking about it. Here we go. I'm going to take the Delinsky Eye. Here we are. And since this one has already lost its leaf, oh, look at that. It makes for a perfect holder for my tag. So see, even it still has its benefits. All right, good to go. Moving on. What do we have here? Ethereum Quirm. This will be a fun one. I learned from my previous methods. Stick the tag there. Open this up. This is another one that this is a first for me. I've never had one of these particular plants, and so should be fun. I'd imagine that the learning curve process is about the same for all Ethereums for the most part. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That's got 3 leaves on it, and all of the leaves lived, and those are some good sized leaves. I mean, we got a little spot there. Hopefully that will heal over. And then on the second one, a little bit of damage in there. Hopefully that's not going to spread. I may cut that out, I may not, I don't know. I'll watch it. So I'm going to observe it, and then if I see this start to spread a little bit, I'm probably going to just cut out just beyond that yellow line, and it'll be an ugly leaf, but it'll be a non-contaminated leaf. And so I think that that's kind of important. Looking really good though, and because this is most likely some type of a mold situation, I doubt it's a fertilizer situation. It looks like a mold situation. I'm probably going to hit this with some of the DIY bug spray that's produced, or I don't know who makes it or who invented it, but Liquid Earth did a video on it, and so we have liked that, and so I'll probably hit it with some of that just to make sure that we're good and happy and healthy. So yeah, really liking this one. This is solid. Let's get this on here. Okay, get there. It's gonna be a long night. We're only like 4 plants in. Uh-oh. I ordered 2 of these. Death wish. Oh dear. This is a Philodendron Verrucosum Hummingbird. And I'm going to be honest. I hoped that this would ship better than its very similar relative, the Verrucosum Amazon Sunset, or even the Verrucosum something 2. They're all kind of the same, and they all have issues with shipping. They don't ship well. You know, you're like 1 for 8. And I say that because I saw it today. But I'm probably going to buy, if I get the opportunity, I'm probably going to buy one that shipped well, because they just don't ship well. So I'm not expecting that, I'll be honest. If I get the chunk to come back, that's really what I'm expecting. Yep. But, you know, that is the import game. Whew. Yeah. So maybe this is one that I will probably set aside and walk you through what I do when I get a plant that ships like this. And I'm going to tell you that there's really not much sense in me trying to replace this with another plant from the pop-up, because I did notice that, and I don't know the full list, but I looked through the list to see what there was, and I just don't have it memorized for those that have asked or will ask, but this was not on there. So this was one that was not going to be at the event that you're going to see or attend, those of you that are local. And so this is definitely going to go down to a chunk, but it's a new plant, it's a new genus. These roots, I don't feel, in Verrucosum, I don't know, Verrucosums don't usually have a chunk. I don't know if they have a chunk, but this certainly doesn't have a chunk, so I don't know. I want to pray that these roots are good and kind of go from there. But if there's anything that I would recommend and have recommended, it is if it's an Amazon Sunset or a Verrucosum with various colors, even like the Verrucosum tricolor, I'd probably avoid ordering it online, because it's probably not going to make it. And then, in all honesty, I mean, gosh, even, let's take a look at this. Even this, let's say that I prop it and throw it all in a prop box. I can't get it to focus. Let's see. Even that node looks kind of shot. So, you know, I don't think that much is going to come from this. But we tried. Right? But I knew, you know, I could have had the expectation. So I'm gonna just throw this aside. I'm not throwing it away, I'm throwing it aside. More to come on that. Right. Let's see. Let's go with this. What is this? Ooh, Delinsky Eye. This is another one that I didn't know if I ordered it or not, and really wanted it. This is kind of on my wish list, if you will, for those 3-leaf plants that, as my wife would say, from Sean, meow. I don't know where it comes from, but I do know where it comes from. It comes from Sean. The botanist. to, we actually, and shout out to you, Sean. Our Hoyas arrived in great condition, so very happy about that. Thank you so much. You'll see those in another episode somewhere sometime, but they're actually acclimating down in the grow tent. So shout out to Sean the botanist. Thank you. Let's see. This doesn't look bad. It looks decent. We got one leaf that looks like it's been a little traumatized. But get rid of that. It's done. But the rest of it, so let's go back to where I talked about no folding and no creasing. This has had some folding and it's got some creasing, which is, you know, it can happen. You prefer for it not to, but it can. But if you look at the color and you look at the plant, you know, I would say beyond packaging, this plant shipped extremely well. Super green. The feel of the leaves is really nice. It almost feels like the Eye in terms of texture, but it actually seems to have shipped really well. So very, very pleased with this one. This is one that if we have the opportunity to bring more in, I would certainly say that I'm not beyond bringing more in based on how well this is shipped. So kudos to you, Delinsky Eye. Delinsky Eye. Let's get this tag so that I don't confuse it with like a Funky Eye or whatever that other one is. Where's the one that we lost? So I'm going to get into the habit is if I lose a leaf, I'm going to attach the tag to the petiole of the leaf that I lost. Yeah, looking good. Good shape. Liking that. Alright, let's see. Drop that guy right there. Should have just brought a garbage can over. Oh. Fibrosum. Fibrosum. I'm gonna. Uh-oh. Let's see what's going on here. Who's in the way? Somebody's in the way. There we go. Alright. Hold on. Oops. Yeah. Well, so be it. Alright. It's backwards, but Fibrosum. Strappy, small, the strappy. Taking a small strappy plant. Reminds me like a small scrappy plant, but strappy. Alright, looking good. I mean, I think that once this gets the opportunity to get some water in it, gets rejuvenated. A couple small leaves that we're probably going to lose, like we'll lose that. This one, not as bad. It's kind of ugly. I might just trim it down. You know, and that's another thing is, so if you have a leaf that's got some damage on the tip, but the whole thing isn't damaged, don't necessarily just cut the whole leaf off. That doesn't make sense. Just cut off the part that's damaged and leave the part that's not, because that's still producing chlorophyll or chlorophyll, one of those, that green stuff that makes your plant green and healthy. And so let it still do that, and it's okay. You know, not every plant leaf has to be beautiful and Instagram worthy. You know, even something like this, it's got some, you know, tears in there, it's bent, it's warped, it's got a bend in it, but it's green And if it's making a positive contribution to the plant, then I'm going to keep it. And what I mean by positive contribution is if a plant is yellow or if a plant has an excessive amount of damage, the plant is going to divert its energy to that leaf in order to try and bring it back. You know, in a case like that, go ahead and clip it, let it go, let the energy go somewhere else and flow into the roots or into the leaves. Don't try and save a leaf and lose a plant. But it's okay to save a plant and lose a leaf if it's, you know, a situation where the leaf is just beyond ability to produce any positivity towards the rest of the plant. But this one, it's an import, so it may yellow out and start to, you know, go bad. And if it does, cut it, done. But if it doesn't, I'm going to leave it and I'm going to let it do its thing and help out the rest of the plant. All right. This is long, but I feel like this is informative. This is good stuff. I also feel like I did not put the tag on that plant. Where did it go? Let's get that. Okay, let's tag this guy. I think for right now, these are such small petioles. I don't want to damage one, but I think this is going to work out okay. Alright, throw that in there. Let's see, what do we have here? Let's go with this one. Pentalabum. I'm guessing strappy because it's long. Stuff on me there. So, Pentalabum. Oh dear, dropped that right in my drink. I'm still drinking it. Just saying. Alright. What's wrong? It's not strappy. Clearly I've never owned this before because I have no idea what it looks like. Looks pretty good. I'm not entirely sure why I bought it. I'm guessing it was not that much. Actually, I can see why I bought it. It kind of looks like a Gigi, honestly. I bet you it's probably like a cheap version of a Gigi. So, again, here's some opportunity. This leaf could have been flat and not kind of jacked up like that, but this leaf structure, when that starts to fill back out and rejuvenate, this leaf may not, because this crease actually is going to be a tear eventually. But let's look at this one. That's going to be a cool looking shape. So very excited about that, and it seems to have traveled well. You know, I think that any of the damage really is more attributed to packaging than anything else. You notice that the leaves are all green. It looks very healthy. It's got a nice thick petiole. The new leaf that it's producing looks like there's not a lot of damage to it as well. A little bit in the very top, but we're going to let it go and see what it does. Not going to cut this off, not going to trim it. You know, I'm just going to let it do its thing and see where we go from there. But this is promising, and I like the shape of this leaf, so I can really see why I bought it, especially if it wasn't that expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and strap this onto here like that. See, so there we go. right there on that, like that. That way I know what it is later. Because who knows, I've definitely never owned one before, so couldn't tell you what it was if I lost the tag. And that's one cool thing about Ecuagenera is the diversity in the plants that they offer is just ridiculous, you know, which is cool. And that's the thing is, don't always be in the plant game for the rarity. Be in it for what you like. Like, do you like strappy plants? Do you like plants that have like the long earlobes? Do you like plants that are asymmetrical? Plants that look like heart shapes? Plants that for texture? You know, there's a plant that we're going to pick up tomorrow that I'm pretty much purely buying it because of texture. Same reason that we picked up the luxurians. I mean, the luxurians, yeah, okay, we picked it up because it was luxurious. But at the same time, that texture that you have, that textile experience, it's awesome. So, you know, buy plants for what you like about the plant, not necessarily because what everybody's saying about the plant. All right. Struggle. This is a different type of paper, and I'm sure it's great. It's got the same holes and whatnot, but if you compare it to the other stuff, it's a little bit darker. This stuff is a lighter weight, and so it doesn't tear very well. And so it's just taking a little bit more time. But a lighter weight, in terms of shipping a plant, that might be a good thing, you know. Not necessarily from a weight, as in pounds perspective, which also probably beneficial, but we're talking like thousandths of a pound. But in terms of just ability to not be too heavy, maybe allowing the plant to breathe, it might be good from that perspective. Did I even look at what this is? I didn't. Like, what is this? No idea. Let's take this off. Struggle. It's really y'all. I don't know how I'm going to be able to tag this back on here because this tape is not coming off of this very easily. Alright, whatever. Anyways. Delinsky Eye. Ethereum Delinsky Eye. Okay. Get rid of that. This is another one. It's probably that 3-leaf thing. So again, odds are this is the oldest leaf. Odds are you're going to lose the oldest leaf. And then again, you are not a positive contribution to society, so you will be clipped. Done. And this one, I'll be honest, 3 days, this is going to also be gone and clipped because it's going to turn completely yellow. It's already about 70% yellow right now. You're not a positive contribution to society. I don't know, it looks like maybe it's dried up. I feel like maybe this whole curling thing that you see here going on, I feel like that's maybe a symptom of dryness in the leaves. Maybe not. I have to really look and do my homework on the plant. I'm sure that I bought it because of the look of the leaves. I like that syngonium type of look. But if the ripples are not, it might be rippled naturally because like every single leaf is rippled. But I don't know. It's cool. I like it. I like it. Right. Ethereum Delinsky Eye. There's no way to attach this tape. There we go. This is going to work. Now I'm going to attach it to the dead leaf because Not that I'm, you know, giving him a death sentence, but he's gonna die. All right. We're just gonna start. I don't want to lay plants down, but I think I'm running out of space here. You're gonna go in there. That's good enough. Okay. What is next? I feel like I'm missing a bag. I still feel like I'm short one. Let's see. Okay, Bessier. Looks kind of small. Probably a baby. Bessier is one that can get much bigger. Oh, this one, yeah, not super impressed. This leaf is going to struggle, but I'll tell you what, if it manages to not turn any more yellow than it already is, it's going to stay there. I've done that with regales, I've done that with crystallinums, and this section, let's see if we can do this. I can't do this way, let's go. This section right here, the green parts, I'll just say the green parts, as long as the green parts stay green, they're going to beneficially help produce the new growth of the new leaf that's going to come out. And if you can look right here, this is actually going to be producing a new leaf here very soon. And what I do like that I'm seeing, and I haven't seen this on any other plant, this is ridiculous. This might be a really good, I'm super excited about this. Wow, look at that. Look close. That root system is super happy. And so, yeah, I may lose a leaf or two, but I've got a really happy root system, and that's going to produce plants down the road. So, super excited about that. All right, again, following tradition, I'm going to attach the tag to the leaf that is most likely to die. Man, even look at that, like right up front. Happy? Yeah, I think so. All right. Yeah, we're out of space. I'm gonna start laying these down. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Fibrosum. I was thinking of the Fricatum, but I really like my Fricatum. It actually ended up having a little bit of a bout. It's got some bugs, but it made it, and it's now in recovery, but still very much like it. Has nothing to do with this plant, but they both start with F, and so it kind of reminded me of it. Kind of changed my retrieval technique, so now instead of doing the whole tear down the front side of the bag, I'm going to just slide it out like that. Oh yeah, fuzzy petioles. And usually fuzzy petioles for me lately have meant like death on imported plants, but this one, it seems to have imported okay. I mean, not amazingly, but it looks like it's definitely going to make it. And this is probably the most fuzzy petiole plant that I've seen. This is super fuzzy. I don't see the root system like I saw on the other plant, but this looks fun. I'm not sure if you can see that leaf shape, but maybe on this one. Looks pretty good. Probably, we'll say 50-50 color, so there's probably about a 50-50 chance that I'm going to lose this leaf. But the nice thing is this little fuzzy guy. Hello, fuzzy guy. I'm not super familiar with fur cotton. Well, not familiar at all, but I'm pretty sure that that's going to be a leaf. All right, so I like it. This is cool. This is fun. I never had one of these. I'm enjoying this one. Okay. Good stuff. Let me drop you in there because of the fact of the type of leaf that is. Okay. Oh, another fried reach TI. Must have been something about this plant that I liked. I'm guessing it was cheap. It has cool leaf structure. Because typically, I'm not going to buy two of one kind in a single order. And it's very possible that maybe I bought it during two different orders and didn't realize that I bought it in a previous order, because you had a window of opportunity to pre-order for events, and as long as you pre-order during that window of opportunity and selected where it would be shipped to. Obviously we wanted to ship to our event, which is the pop-up that we're going to host tomorrow, and so there's a good chance that I had just bought it more than once because I caught another one on sale. I can see why I bought this though. It's a nice strappy plant. Strappy plants are in, and I probably bought one for myself and one to carry in the store. Obviously the yellow leaves, they're gonna go away, but most of these leaves are really green. They look good. This one actually looks better than the other one, to be honest with you. And that's another thing too. If you really like a plant and you order it online, you're probably, unless it's an Amazon Sunset, Amazon Veracosum, Amazon Bicolor, Tricolor, unless it's a Amazon or a Hummingbird. Actually, I think that's Amazon too. Unless it's an Amazon of some sort, yeah, buy two, because you'll probably get one that's nicer than the other, and you could probably sell the other one, especially if it's from somewhere like Ecuagenera, because the prices are so cheap. But yeah, this guy looks really good. Yeah. All right. Throw that in there. Wait. That's twice now. Back here. Gonna tag them and bag them. Get into the habit. And it's super late. I gotta be up early tomorrow because I gotta be there for you. At least those of you that are in Utah. Alright. What's next? Little guy. Uh-oh. Okay, this is probably a seedling, I'm sure, because of the size. Looking at the bag. Or the, not bag, but the paper, the wrapper. It's Regale. Not 100% sure that this is a seedling because of the size. And that's one thing that I have noticed, is that with something that's like a huge plant that's got big leaves that just kind of get massive, it's okay to buy them small and grow them out. Let the leaves that have issues go ahead and have their issues, because it's going to continue to get bigger. Unfortunately, the newest leaf on this one, and like I said, this is a seedling, but the newest leaf on this one did suffer some damage. But I'm gonna, we're gonna throw it in a cup, throw it in the tent, and let it grow out. and just cut off. Any area that's not good, I'm just going to cut it off, and I'm going to continue to let it grow out because this hasn't hardened up. This is very much a baby leaf. You can tell by its color if you look at how it's like that dark bronze color versus a green color. You can tell that it hasn't hardened off yet. But even still, this has really good potential. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it, but yeah, right there. Look at that. Some nice white roots and dirty fingernails. But even in here, nice white roots. So it's got a really good root structure. So not really any concerns. These do okay. They tend to get mold periodically, but all in all, when they get big and they grow out, they're a really pretty plant. My battery's gonna die. Are you kidding me? All right, we'll be right back. I'm gonna plug in my battery. I'm gonna pause it, try and get this looked. Okay, we're back. Slight change of scenery. You can probably see a little bit more of the mess that we got going on over here, but that's okay. I feel like it's charging. I'm not 100% sure. And I'm not so sure what's going on with the blue in the background. Looks like that's the TV, but that's okay. We're good. Let's roll. Alright. Regale. I don't know if I tagged the regale or not, but well, even though I know what a regale is, we might as well stick to the protocol. Okay, so we're back. Battery died, but we're plugged in. Angle's a little bit different, but all is good. Not sure what. Got a broom in the background. No big deal. So for the sake of time and because of how late it is, I went ahead and unboxed the Ecuagenera, or the Queen, while it was charging enough to be able to start the camera back up. But you've all seen queens before. You've all seen queens die before. You've all seen queens revive before. Alright. Let's see. Next up, Forgetty Eye, white stripes. This is a fun one. I like the Forgetty Eye, and the white stripes is like a variation of it with some brighter veining. And so it's also really cool. If not more cool, because, I don't know, it's like a clarinervium with bright white stripes, i.e. crystallinum, but in round form without the sinus. Ooh, there we go. Let's talk about a sinus, because I'm sure that there's probably some new people to the plant world that do not know what a sinus is on a plant. What is going on with that? Good grief. So a plant sinus is the little separation that you do not see. Let me see if I can get an angle on this. Alright, let's try this. Alright, so if you look at that, let's go full leaf. Let's go sideways. Alright, so this is a sideways view of the leaf, okay? Normally, right here, you see a little indentation where you'll see like earlobes, earlobe, and then a sinus. But on the Forgetty Eye, it doesn't have a sinus. Let's pull this one out. Maybe not. Let's not pull that one out. Let's pull out, oh, here we go. Let's pull out the regale. Okay, so the regale, if you look, see if I can get the angle right. Well, anyways, right here, so this little divot right there from side to side, it's kind of a small plant. I wish I pulled out a bigger plant, but how it has earlobes. So this is an earlobe, this is an earlobe. Well, we'll find another one maybe that's a strappy plant. But if it doesn't have earlobes, those earlobes, or the lack of earlobes, is a lack of a sinus. and the Forgetii do not have a sinus, no lobes. Now the difference between the Forgetii and the Forgetii white stripes is, look at how strong the venation of that is. It's like a bright white venation, and so it's a lot more white than your traditional Forgetii, and so that's kind of the awesome thing about that. I'll pull this off because not needed. But yeah, I like the white stripes, mainly just because it gives a little bit more character to the plant. And again, let's create good habits. Probably not the best way to go with that. I wonder if I can just bend this. There. Bend it. I'm going to bend that so that I don't, so it's not forcing that leaf up, because I really want that leaf to kind of lay out the way it would in its natural environment. There. Alright. Next, the Cuticquence. This is another one that I have never owned before, so this should be interesting. Never even seen one in person before. Okay. Again, going back to my new methodology of not tearing up the bag. I might even save these bags. I don't know why, but oh, I know why I bought this immediately. This is cool. Look at that. Oh man, look at that. Yeah, that is nice. Look at that strappy. It's got the ribs like a Veitchii. It's long and skinny. Man, I hope this thing grows out and gets big. Got multiple leaves that will grow off of one petiole. This is a cool plant. Yeah, I'm liking that. That's a nice one. And it shipped extremely well. So we talk about shipping and whether or not a plant ships well or doesn't ship well. This shipped well. And then coincidentally, I mean, this has nothing to do with this particular plant haul, but kind of just from like a business or a rare plant understanding perspective, sometimes the price of a plant can be impacted by its shipping ability. You know, if you ship a plant, which is odd because you would think the Verrucosum Sunset would be a lot much more expensive based on the fact that it ships like, but shipping can play a factor, because if you can't get one here in good condition, and it takes a long time to reacclimate, grow it back out, and make it healthy, it's probably typically going to cost you more, because it's costing the person who imported it more, because they have to account for all that lost time, which is in a sense lost revenue potentially, and most likely at least for a short period of time, and in some cases for a long period of time. Let's say that you import a plant and it has lost its prestige by the time you get it acclimated and happy and ready to sell. And so if you have a plant that is of that genre where it doesn't ship very well, you may take a loss on it if you're a plant seller. So I don't know, not really related, but just sharing because it came to mind. Alright. Well, I didn't even look at this. I have no idea. Magnificum crossed with Morinense. I swear I almost bought this, or almost set it aside to buy it. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't. This should be a fun one. If I remember right. I really like the look of this one. Paper bag in front of the camera, giving me the chance to yawn without you seeing it. Ta-da! Oh no, the ta-da. I've seen other people do the ta-da, and I don't. Ta-da's not new. So, This one gets a really cool type of, so these lobes, let's go over here, these lobes will grow out just a little bit. If I think about it and edit it and have the opportunity, maybe I'll drop a picture in, but the lobes grow out just a little bit, not a lot, so they become like not very pronounced lobes, but they do grow lobes, and so it's kind of cool, and you can kind of see the difference too. So this one doesn't have the lobes at all yet. This one still very, very juvenile. It's beginning to get those lobes. So this is a fun one. I like this one. I know why I bought this. Obviously we're gonna lose our oldest leaf, gone. But all in all, this really shipped really well. Super happy with that. This is a good one. This is one that, you know, if given the opportunity, yeah, I'll probably bring in a few more, just because I think this is going to be one that people are going to like as well. Good plant. Man, I think it's like 2 in a row, and it was like, yeah, that's a win. Wow, I think that's it. Ending on a high note. Yeah, we went through a lot of plants. Hopefully you got a lot of information. I think the last piece, besides trying to create some muscle memory and getting these tags on here correctly, is going to be to show you what it's going to look like in terms of getting these into some water. And so let's go ahead and go through that process right now. And cups. Let's do this. We're going to grab some pseudo solo cups, and we're going to start with the small plants and get them in there, especially the one that's got like the really good root system. Oh, I got a sight here, but I want to get that. Can't remember what it was. I'll think of it. I'll think of it in a minute. The Bessier. I want to get that into some water because I want to make sure that that has a chance to make those roots stay really healthy and happy. So let me grab this. They're right up here. 1 second. Oh, cabinet open. Okay. All right, here we go. In pseudo solo, why do I say pseudo solo? If you haven't seen my other video, this is not a solo cup. I'm not sure how I can get you to see that, but solo cups will say solo across the bottom. This cup, same width as a solo, same height as a solo, same tensile strength as a solo, but it's not a solo. It's actually Sam's Club. Much cheaper. Love it. Very good cup. Super clear, super transparent, not a cloudy color, so good stuff. All right, so let's start with the Bessier. Okay, and how do I know this is a Bessier? Watch me prove myself wrong, that would be funny. But actually, I know because I left the tag on there. Can't see it, but anyways. Alright, another thing too. So, if you happen to import plants, not that I'm against it, as long as you understand and know the risks, but sphagnum moss, save it. Don't reuse it in terms of putting it, well, you can. If you boil it, you can reuse it entirely, whichever way you want. You know, boil it, squeeze it out, let it dry out, reusable. I don't think this is like, I don't know, it's not like bamboo. Can't think of the word. It's not a sustainable product to an extent, and so definitely don't waste it. And some people might be like, oh, it's an import, I'm gonna just toss the old sphagnum moss. Don't do that. There's two things you can do. Bring out my trusty IKEA tray. One is you can use it for your moss pole. So if you have, let me grab a moss pole. There we go. Okay. There you go. Whoa. Maybe we'll edit that out, but I saved myself, so maybe we won't. I don't know. So your moss pole, you can use it in your moss pole. You know, it's not gonna hurt it. In fact, I quite like using them in my moss poles. Hence why you see this one here. The other thing is if you want to use it down like where the roots are, the main roots, you can do that too. But I would probably recommend boiling it and drying it out at that point so that it can be not necessarily healthy because it's moss. There's no nutrient provided from the moss, but so that it cannot have any contaminants in it. So yeah, man, this is a long video, but I'm hoping that if anybody's new to plants, that you're learning through all the things that I have learned over the course of the last 3 years, with the exception of, and now including, do not overwater your Hoyas. They will die. Let your Hoyas dry out, because that's my new learning curve. Alright, but anyways, let's get back to this. So, carefully take your plant out of the packaging. And you want, I mean carefully. Some people, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to speculate. But do not take for granted what your root system could look like. Okay? This is a beautiful root system. I don't want to ruin it. I want to make sure that it has the opportunity to stay beautiful and stay well kept. Alright? Now, in addition, there's a lot of wonderful sphagnum moss. I'll probably, if I see a piece like this, let's see if I can do this. Oh, lost most of it. Anyways, if I see a piece like this, I'm probably going to go ahead and take that out. This one might actually be okay, but maybe not. I don't know. And then also, if it's something dark like this, I'll probably take that out. It's also probably okay, but hold on. Let's get the mossy part of that. But this other stuff here, all of this is good stuff. Keep that. That turns into this. And this turns into bigger leaf, bigger leaf, bigger leaf, bigger leaf, bigger leaf. Hence my pedatum. In fact, this might have even been the actual moss pole used for my pedatum at one point in time before I put it back together after propping it. Alright, so here we have it. How do we care for a plant? First thing we're going to do is we're going to inspect the root system. Root system on this particular plant is phenomenal. Odds are that most root systems will not look like this. And you'll notice that, and kind of be careful with the anthuriums, but like little tug, nothing came off. But just before that, I don't know if you caught it on video, but that did come off. Do not throw this in your sphagnum moss. Toss it aside because it'll rot. Okay, you don't want to contaminate your sphagnum moss. So actually, I'm going to just take my sphagnum moss, scoot it over to the side here because I don't want to deal with contaminating that any more than it potentially already is. Okay, root right here. Oh look, it's not very good. Well, maybe not, but you know what? It stayed on there for the most part. So I'm going to leave it. And then what's going to happen is you're going to stick this in water, just regular old water, potentially with some root hormone of some sort, not very much. I would even go less than the recommended dosage. And you could probably cut something like this off. Let's go like this. Let's hold this up here. Just snip right there, right at the tip. Get rid of just that little tip piece. You could cut that off just because it's not going to be contributing. But other than that, you're just going to drop it in some water. I was going to drop it in this cup, but good grief, this is huge. I'm going to put this in something else. I'll do that in a second. Drop it in water, let it sit, let it acclimate for at least 24 hours. Now me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm long term. I'm gonna put it in water for probably about a week or two, or until I see additional roots growing off, like secondary roots beyond what I already see, or until I see a new leaf continue to do well and succeed and produce an actual leaf. The reason I feel that way is because I know at that point that this plant is soaking up that water and those nutrients. Water first 48 hours, nutrients probably after a week-ish. Then I know that the root system's working. The root system is the functioning piece. It's the piece that pushes the water up into the leaves, pushes the nutrients up into the leaves. If your roots die off, your leaves aren't going to do well long term. They might look good for a few days, which another pro tip from a non-pro is the best your plants are going to look is going to be the first that you receive them if they're imported. The first 24 hours, they're going to look better than they ever will until you have completely reacclimated them. All right, good stuff. I feel like this is an informative video. This is good stuff. I hope this is good for you. Is it as good for you as it is for me? Just kidding. I hope it's better, honestly, because I already know this information, kind of. I'm still learning, but you know. Anyway, side point, tangent. So I'm not going to put this one in a small solo cup because this cup's way too small for that. So let's try the Regali, which also has really good leaves, or really good roots, I should say. Alright, so same process. Get the plastic off without damaging the root system, and also get the a little bit of a problem here. I'm just going to be patient and slowly get this plastic off because I don't want to completely destroy this plant. Alright, same thing. I'm just kind of massage it. And in all honesty, what you may want to do before you drop this into some water, in terms of a water cup or water container, is you can run it under some water if you choose to. Definitely not hot water, definitely not super cold water. You don't want to shock the root system. But if you are struggling to get the sphagnum moss off, running it under a little bit of water is extremely helpful. And again, man, you just can't ask for better than that. That's a super, super happy root system. Man, yeah, that's just beautiful. I really have very little doubt that this leaf that seems to have struggled a little bit because it's a brand new leaf, I think that that's going to make it. I think it's going to continue to grow. I'm going to have to cut some of it, obviously, but I think it's going to be good. So let's look at this pseudo solo cup. Water, pinch of rooting hormone, or not. I'd say at first you're probably better off to not, just to be on the safe side. Bug, good grief. Welcome to July in a house that's being renovated. I'm gonna fill it up. I like to turn either the cup or the plant if there's a lot of roots, so I don't want any of those roots to break off as it's dropping down in there. And then right about there, that's almost perfect. Maybe even just a hair more water, just because all you need to do is give it enough water to be right at the end of the chunk, if you will. This really doesn't really have a chunk yet, but let's see, right there. Yeah, it's good stuff. And then you're gonna let it sit just like this, if possible in a grow tent or in a bin for at least 48 hours. Okay, at least, because this plant needs to rejuvenate, it needs to get itself together and you know, be able to go back to doing what it does. It's been through a lot. It's been through shipping, it's been through phytosanitary, it's been through different climates. And when I say different climates, I mean the climate in Ecuador is different than the climate in the bottom of a cargo plane, which is different than the climate of the store that it had been sent to, or to your home, or the box that it sat in while it was at the post office for however long, or whatever service provider that you use to in order to get your plant to you. And so it needs to reacclimate. And so we're going to give it that opportunity by giving it the best possible conditions. We're going to take this plant, we're going to stick it in a bin, and in all honesty, I'm probably going to take my bin and put it in the grow tent and give it the highest humidity possible. Burrow marks, variegated burrow marks, maybe not so much. That's the one plant where it for whatever reason it seemed to struggle more the more humidity that I gave it. There's probably a peak and a minimum for the burrow marks, but this guy, I know it loves humidity, so it's going to go in a bin, in a tent, and get a lot of humidity for at least 2 days. Okay. Again, stuff like this, you can take that, remove it from your Sphagnum Moss. You don't need that. I'm looking up because I want to get this in some water. So bear with me 1 second. Let's see. When you're rerooting, there is absolutely nothing wrong with repurposing, because all this is going to do is hold the plant while it's rejuvenating. And again, we're going to twist it so we do not damage that root system, because this is a pretty significant root system. And with a plant like this, if you have the opportunity to use a plant clip in order to hold it up in position, I would probably recommend that, and I'll probably get one. But what you would do is you would take that plant clip and you just clip it right there so that it has the ability to stay upright and capture, you know, sunlight or grow light or whatever type of light that it needs to. So I'm gonna, sorry about that loud noise, there's wire down there below me. I'm gonna grab a plant clip. Alright, so here we have trusty plant clip. Clip, clip, clip. I'm going to take that and we are going to, I don't want to clip it where the new growth is, So I want to be careful about that, and this plant clip's probably a little bit too big, to be honest. The goal would be to be able to clip to the side of the container without putting any type of pressure on the petiole. And for whatever reason, this is a struggle. It's not the angle I wanted in the slightest. We're going to do it different. Patience, trial and error. There we go. Alright. Plant clip allows the plant to stay upright and allows the root system to not get broken if it happens to fall, bend, break. Well, it would break as a result of falling or whatever. Right, so we're good there. So that's the plant clip. Put that back there. This is one I could probably drop this in a solo cup, but really, I mean, this is super long. Let's go ahead and maybe close this out. Actually, let's find a plant that maybe has a root system that is not doing so good. I set a plant aside because it was looking really bad. Where did I put it? It was a Verrucosum, the hummingbird. Oh, there we go. Alright. I should probably grab my scissors. What is that? Oh, 30 minutes left, I guess is what it's telling me. Maybe 35 minutes, 5 minutes, I don't know. Okay, when you get a plant like this, first thing is the root system. If the root system's shot, you are probably out a plant. If the root system is not shot, you probably stand a chance at that plant reviving. And I feel like I only have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to be fairly quick about this. Alright, so first part, get the plant out of the sphagnum moss. Second part, this is why this plant struggles to ship. The root system is ship with a different last letter. This leaf, obviously, in fact all of the leaves are not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to tear it off. And I'm tearing it off like that because I'm hoping that it reactivates or activates another leaf to grow. Now if we look at this, nothing on this plant is going to survive with the exception possibly of this one new leaf that was supposed to come out, and honestly I don't think that's going to make it. But in each of these sections you can cut it. You can cut here, you can cut here, you can cut here, and you can throw it. Actually, you can even cut here because you should have a new, right here, you're going to have a new leaf that could potentially grow out from here. I don't know how I can get the angle on that. Right there, that's a leaf, or a node anyways. And so we're going to chop this up, throw it in a prop box, hope for the best. And when you cut it like this, you're probably going to activate new nodes. And these nodes don't look terrible, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut off. Not even cut. I'm just going to break off these old leaves. Sadly enough, we're going to have to move this too. I'm not even sure where I'm going to put this at, but it's not going to be on there. So we're going to just break those off. I need to save my tag so I know what this was. And then I'm going to just chop it up. Be right back. Running out of time, but we'll grab some sterilized cutting utensils. We will sterilize with fungicide, I guess. Typically, it's better to sterilize with alcohol or heat. But for the sake of time, we're going to use fungicide. I don't know if that's a thing. Use alcohol or heat. Oh, look at this. Here we go. Ta-da! Alcohol. I'm going to sterilize with alcohol. I'm going to take some of our cotton, roll it up into a ball, like that. Sterilize our utensils. Okay. Put that lid back on there. Huh, look at that. I actually had alcohol spray right here. This is even better. You just take it, spray it, kill off any potential bacteria, because you're going to be going inside of this plant here. And give yourself as much room as possible so that you can, if it starts to get rotten or it starts to rot, yeah, before you get to, let's get over here, before you get to this point, you have all of this that you can potentially cut off before it gets there. So I try to cut in the very middle between where the roots would grow. So roots are going to grow here, roots are going to grow here. Got a node that's going to go right there. I'm going to cut right in the middle of that. And these little end pieces, they're going to go in a prop box. Okay. Oh, we're out of time, maybe. We got 4 minutes, but if you get one where it's a double, like this, because you got one that can grow here, one that can grow here, no need to get greedy. Go down to the next one, chop it there, like that. That way you have enough room to have a margin of safety in the event that it rots. And also, what you may want to do, what I would recommend doing, even though I struggle to do it sometimes, let it dry out for at least 2 hours, or you can heat up some wax, dip the open end that is exposed to wax. Depending on how much it bleeds, you know, you might have to let it sit for a while, but I'll probably just let this sit overnight. And then tomorrow I'm going to drop this into a bin of moss. That's another thing too. You can also use this for your propagation bin. You know, so don't waste that. As long as you keep all of the other stuff out of it, kind of like what I was showing you before. Throw it in a propagation bin. You drop these guys right in. Make sure that when you drop it in, that you're going to drop it in exposed node up, so that it has the opportunity to grow up and the roots will go down. I try to cover my roots, keep it fairly moist, and you'll see a plant growing before too long. And that's the way to not have a complete loss. Okay, thank you so much. It's been an honor. That was a super long video, but I feel like it was really worth it. I hope it was very informative to you. You got to see our plant haul from the Ecuagenera pop-up in Utah. And if you get an opportunity to, check us out at Armstrong Aroids, 499 South and 90th West in Bountiful, just underneath the UPS store, if you happen to be on an apple and it leads you astray like apples do. But yeah, appreciate you. This is Teray, rare plant enthusiast and co-owner of Armstrong Aroids, signing out. Appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe. That's how I know that this content is good for you. And if you don't like it, subscribe and scribe. Tell me why. Tell me what you want to see different. Have a good one. Bye.